lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I guess I book hauled again. Yes, I am back at it again with a large book haul pretty soon after the book haul that I just had. I mean, technically it's actually sooner than the last book haul that I had because the last book haul that I did was actually posted a month after I filmed it, so there's the explanation there. I have accumulated around 65 books within this period, so I'm going to be sharing them with you guys today. And I do want to acknowledge something before going into this book haul, that I didn't just purchase all of these books. A lot of these books I actually received or I had permission to take from my workplace. I know a lot of you guys might be thinking, how can you afford all of that? But I just want you guys to know that some of these I had permission to obtain for myself, and I'm technically sharing them in my book haul because I like to record my book hauls and what I actually accumulate. So I guess without further ado, it's about time I get into this book haul, so we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna start off with these two beautiful books. These are, I believe, some fantasy steampunk novels. They are The Grace of Kings and The Wall of Storms. These two books are in a quartet by Ken Liu, and I am very much looking forward to reading them. They do look a little bit intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. Like this one right here, it's like 900 pages. I've heard really good things about the series, and I just really loved the covers. And when I saw that Dimmix was doing a buy one get one half price deal on these two, I just thought to myself, I had to get it. Even though adult fantasy is technically pretty intimidating for me, like I'm really struggling to pick up my Brandon Sanderson books, guys. I really do want to read these and give these a shot because I've been hearing good things about them, and hopefully these books will get me reading some epic fantasy. We'll see. So I've mentioned JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on my channel before. I have volume 1 of part 5. I have volume 1 of part 5 because I really could not resist, and I really love this cover so much. There's Josuke, there's Jotaro, they have Diorno on here, and their stands. Oh my goodness, I really love this cover. And yes, I'm still collecting more of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure volumes, but I've got to keep collecting them in order to read them, or like binge read them, because I do like binge reading these things, you know? But also I have a full-length book written by the same author as JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is called Manga in Theory and Practice, The Craft of Creating Manga. But this isn't your typical manga volume. No, it's a self-help book about writing manga, and it's pretty cool. Just wanted to kind of like explore it sometime, kind of learn Araki's process, because I'd like to see his process, and I think he best explains it in this book. So I'd love to dive into that eventually. And another manga hardback that I've got to haul today is Fist of the North Star Volume 1. I've heard wild things about this anime and manga. It has recently been rebranded, and for some reason I've always been curious about it. A couple of people that I've heard recommend it say that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a good gateway into it, so I'm curious. Therefore, I have, and I will eventually try. Now I'm gonna bring up a couple of contemporaries before I get into more manga. The first contemporary novel I'm gonna mention is this one right here called Dial A for Aunties. I have heard many things about this one book. Unlike many things on BookTube, many things on Bookstagram, I don't actually know if it's gotten TikTok famous or not. But what has recently got me more interested is the fact that the sequel is out now, and I saw this paperback going on sale in bookstores. They made it like $10 cheaper than what it usually was, and so I just decided that I was gonna pick it up. The same day I purchased Dial A for Aunties. I wanted to get another book, but I didn't want to spend too much money, and then Camilo decided to buy me I Hate You More by Lucy Gilmore. Since then, I've read it and absolutely loved it. This is one of my new favorite romance contemporaries, and I love that this book focuses a lot on dogs. And what I love about this cover is that there are literally 2 golden retrievers on it. So cute. And that's a big reason why I wanted to purchase it, because the cover just overwhelmed me with happiness when I looked at it. And Camilo was like, I'll get you the book with the dogs on it. And oh my gosh, we were just overwhelmed with the cuteness of this cover in the bookstore that we went to. Thank you so much, Camilo, for getting me this book. I happen to love it, and it is one of my new favorite romance contemporaries. I highly recommend if you're wanting a new one to read. And a romance contemporary that I have not yet read, but I'm so looking forward to reading, is actually a novella by Tessa Bailey, which is known as Window Shopping. I believe that this book right here was self-published. I ordered it on Amazon. I don't see a publisher attached to it. It kind of feels like it's self-published, so I was wondering why I never saw it in bookstores and why I was only seeing it listed on the Amazon website, because I went around like during Christmas time to purchase this from like Kinokuniya, and then I went to Dimmix, and then I went to all sorts of other bookstores, and I couldn't find it. I think I went to one bookstore and it was there, but I did not have the budget for it at the time. And that was Abby's bookstore, which was an independent bookstore, and they do sometimes sell independently published books. So this makes sense. After missing my one opportunity to get it in the bookstore, I decided, okay, I'm gonna cave with Amazon. And then when it came, I realized this book's actually self-published. That is the reason why it was hard to find, but I'm so excited to have it because you guys already know I love me some Tessa Bailey. Any kind of content that I can get my hands on, specifically something that looks just like pretty like this, oh my goodness, sign me up, I'm there. And I definitely wanted the physical copy because it looks gorgeous. This is definitely one of my favorite romance covers ever. Next book I'm gonna mention was actually sent to me for review by Penguin. And you know what? I thought they forgot about me. But turns out it was just supply chain issues. I never received a reply to my email about requesting a review copy. When I found out that a major publisher picked up Ice Planet Barbarians, all I thought was, well, I guess this is a sign that you need to pick it up. See, here's the thing. For years, I thought to myself, I'm not gonna read Ice Planet Barbarians. And you know what? The common denominator in terms of like contributing factors to me not wanting to pick up the series was the covers. The covers are absolutely embarrassing. And see, here's the thing. Some people don't judge a book by its cover, but I don't want people to judge me based on the books that I'm reading because of the covers. If you're going out in public, you could easily like fold over a cover. It won't bat an eye at you. For me, it's a GOODREADS thing. Like, honestly, I do have to get over this because I'm gonna read some stuff. When I record books on my GOODREADS, I don't want people to judge me based on the books that I read, being that their covers are just, I don't know. This is the part of like romance reads that I'm really struggling with right now because I would love to read a bunch of romance novels. However, some of their covers are hideous to me personally. And personally, for some reason, I struggle with the fact that potentially people are gonna judge me for reading books with a bunch of shirtless guys. When some of the books, I don't know, they could actually be wholesome, but people judge them based on their covers. But the Ice Planet Barbarian ones are like a whole level of worse from like just a general shirtless guy. The original covers are just really poorly designed in my opinion. And then when I found out that they were doing a cover change, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I'm actually intrigued to pick the book series up. I've heard interesting things about this book in particular and the rest of the series. And if anything, I've actually heard from the readers that this series is really good and that they really enjoy it. And that's why it has a very hardcore fan base despite it having the ugliest covers in the world. And I mean, not including this one that I'm holding up right now or the second one. I just hope that they continue on with the series in this cover style because, oh my goodness, these covers are gorgeous. Thank you so much, Penguin Australia, for sending this my way. I cannot wait to dive into it and let everyone know how I actually feel about this TikTok sensation. Speaking of TikTok sensations, I also have to bring up Elle Kennedy because I got good girl complex here. This 100% was a cover buy. Now I'm gonna get back to some manga. The next thing I'm gonna mention is a short story collection called To Strip the Flesh. I've gathered about this short story collection is that it's about self-discovery and learning to accept yourself. I really like those themes, and also I haven't really tried out many manga standalones or short stories. Then I have Death Note short stories, which I believe I should have read like straight after Death Note, but it's understandable because this short story collection was not available straight after I read Death Note. I finished Death Note like around 5 or 6 months ago. I reckon that it would have just had its full effect if I read this short story collection straight afterwards. But to add on to that point, if you are indeed interested in reading Death Note, then I would highly recommend you pick Death Note short stories up afterwards because I feel like a lot of us who have read Death Note did miss out on the short story collection when we first read it, and I reckon that it has the most full effect after you read Death Note. Then I have Yakuza Lover volumes 4 and 5, one of my favorite steamy shoujos. This is probably the first steamy shoujo I got into, and honestly, I'm just having a really good time with it. It is very intense, it is very packed with emotion and action, and I just reckon that it is great for lovers of steamy romance, but also just like an intense plotline. I reckon that Yakuza Lover is good for everyone if they're obviously looking for those things. If you are a younger reader, I do not recommend these. Please do not listen to me right now. These are not for you. Speaking of steamy shoujos, these are vampire shoujos. I have volumes 2 and 3 of Rose and Blood. From what I've seen with the reviews, oh boy, it's coming in hot. Everyone is just raving about it. I just know that it's probably going to be my thing. You know what? Speaking of shoujo in general, I just have like a bunch of first volumes of things that I would like to try. First of all, I've got Everyone's Getting Married volume 1. Then I've got Kakuruyo Bed and Breakfast for Spirits volume 1. I've got Behind the Scenes volume 1. I've got Tenka Bacho Atome Loves Battle Royale volume 1. And then finally, I have Daytime Shooting Star volume 1. I'm just really wanting to get into shoujo. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like a lot lot of the time before I started getting into like Yakuza lover or just shoujo in general. I mean, I'm barely into shoujo now, but I used to just generalize it all the time. I used to think that shoujo was just like maybe the same kind of thing, and then shonen was like the more unique. And I understand that a lot of the time shonen is technically generalized as the boys genre, and then shoujo is technically generalized as the girls one. You know what? That kind of does make sense because those are kind of the categories in a nutshell. However, at the same time, I've just never really wanted to put them in a stereotype that they're all the same and they're boring. I just want to try more to decide for myself. I've got a bunch of shoujo here and I'm looking forward to letting you guys know how I go. But that being said, I've also got a lot of shonen that I got to show you that I want to try out. So right over here, I've got a bunch of volume 1s of some shonen, and I have indeed read Ghost Reaper Girl. I've talked about this in one of my previous wrap-ups and I absolutely enjoyed it. Actually also recently read Kubo Won't Let Me Feel Invisible, or Let Me Be Invisible rather. I liked this first volume a lot. It was absolutely cute and I would definitely recommend it to those who like Komi Can't Communicate, or like a kind of style of show or manga, even though I haven't actually read Komi yet, but I kind of know the premise. It kind of just reminds me of that premise. So yes, I would highly recommend these two based on my reading experiences with them. However, I have not yet read these shonen. So I've got Burn the Witch Volume 1, which was by the author of Bleach. There's a lot of raving going on about this one. There's also a lot of raving going on about Kaiju number 8, Volume 1. I have not yet tried it out yet, so I probably need to get to it. Also, Seraph of the End. Like, I've read about this one many times and people talking about it, but have I gotten to it yet? No. But that needs to happen though. Then I've got to mention some signature editions of manga, and I'm going to be starting off with Alice in Borderland. I am so excited to read this, and this only recently got translated into English after the TV show came out. Honestly, I've been holding off from watching the TV show because I've always wanted to read the manga, so I'm very much looking forward to checking this out and letting you guys know how I feel about it. And then I also have the first 2 volumes of A Record of Ragnarok. Same thing, I just don't necessarily want to watch the TV show yet. I've heard that the TV show is inaccurate or just not good compared to the manga. Not many people like Record of Ragnarok, the anime. That's why I'm putting it off, but I want to make up my own opinion and read the manga for myself and eventually let you guys know whether it's actually worth reading or not. And then I've got Reign of the Grey World. I decided to pick this up because similar to what I've mentioned with the shoujo I mentioned previously, I just want to try out new things. So I just decided to pick this volume 1 up and let you guys know how I feel about it eventually. And now I've got a series continuation I cannot wait to read, and that, my friends, is Spy Family Volume 7. I have not yet read Spy Family Volume 6, and I should have read it because Volume 5 just like left me with the oh no moments. Like, what are they gonna do with the big grand reveal? I actually just need to continue on with the series, but I think every single time I get intimidated because I think to myself, oh no, I'm running out of volumes. Because these manga volumes are coming out at a slower pace because they're just currently being translated, but they're on big high demand due to the anime. And I cannot believe that the anime is already out. Like, it's just wild that so many people are giving these characters the love that they deserve finally. I love this series so much, and if you have not checked it out yet, if you have not read the manga, at least watch the anime and fall in love with the Forager family. Now I'm gonna bring up some novels, but I'm not gonna lie. In this next segment, I'll be a little bit heated because I received the first book in the series today after waiting for it for a week. I'm a little bit upset at the condition that it came to me in. Sometimes I order independently published books and I get very much excited to do so, but sometimes they are printed in the incorrect format, and I kind of just wish that sometimes some printers could just do like a standard format. So for the longest time, I've wanted to read the Fallen World trilogy by Laura Falasa, and you might not see the problem right now, but let me show you the problem now. Why? This is an independently published series. A series that probably would have had a standard printing size, but no, they decided to change it. This is frustrating. I understand that with independently published series, especially if they are distributed by Amazon, in this case, I decided, okay, this is the quickest way I'm going to be able to get them in the easiest way, because I have not seen these books distributed in bookstores before. So I've really wanted to read this trilogy, and I really love these covers. They're absolutely gorgeous, but this is very frustrating. I waited for this book to come in a week after these books, and they either used a new printer or they used a different PDF. No, they actually used a new printer, because if you look in here, the margins are wide. This frustrates me because this right here is the size of either a B+ paperback or a trade paperback. These here are B format paperbacks. This is an absolutely beautiful aesthetic, but I don't even want to display this on my shelf next to these books. It was definitely also a cover purchase. I mean, that came to bite me in the end. And this next book I'm gonna mention, I just picked up on a whim secondhand. That, my friends, is Violet Bent Over Backwards Over the Grass. This is by Lana Del Rey. Do I know anything about this? No, not really. I just thought to myself, yeah, why not? I may as well. The next two books I got a haul are The X-Talk and Weather Girl, both by Rachel Lynn Solomon. These are two of Rachel Lynn Solomon's adult novels, and I remember hearing a lot about The X-Talk. I cannot wait to read The X-Talk because I love the premise. The premise sounds really cool. It's like a podcast with two people pretending to be exes. They just have some like unexplained tension, and so that's a big reason why people were like, hey, you guys would be perfect fake exes, so start this podcast for us, will you? I don't know if it's a podcast or it's like a radio segment, I don't know, but it draws in views. So I'm very much looking forward to reading that one and letting you guys know how I feel about it. However, Weather Girl, I don't really know much about. I just picked it up because Rachel Lynn Solomon had a cool premise here. And also, this was a $12 paperback alongside this $12 paperback, so I had to purchase them. And speaking of bargains, I also have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I have wanted to read this book for years, and I've only picked it up recently, and I reckon that the $5 price point for me was enough to really convince me that I needed it. I cannot wait to read The Kiss Quotient and to let you guys know how I feel, because I've held myself back for like 5 years, and I remember when people were first raving about this, like everyone was talking about this when it first came out, and now Helen Huang is like very popular in the romance genre. And you know what? I'm only actually just noticing as I'm looking at the cover that Sarah J Maas blurbed this. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty random, but that's also very exciting. So I'm very happy for Helen Huang there. I can't wait to read it. And the next book I gotta bring up in this book haul is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This paperback right here is the B format paperback, which means that it matches the rest of my Taylor Jenkins Reid's books in height. Because yes guys, as mentioned before, it does my head in when matching heights are not a thing on my bookshelf. So I waited almost an entire year to get this paperback to match the rest, and yes, you bet I will be doing the same with Carrie Soto. When it comes to Carrie Soto, I will probably just listen to that one on audiobook. I actually didn't know that this edition of Malibu Rising was coming out this month. I actually finished Daisy Jones and the Sick around a week before this got published. I actually looked it up on Penguin Australia's website to see when this would be published, and then it just so turned out to have the publication date of like a week after I searched, and that was like really exciting. So I waited for this one, and when I finally saw it at Target, I had to get it, and I now have it, and now it sits proudly on my Taylor Jenkins Reid collection shelf. And the next book I got a haul is The Gilded Years by Karen Tanappi. I have heard that, oh yeah, it says up here, soon to be a major motion picture, and I believe that Zendaya is either starring in it or she's going to be co-starring in it. I don't know, we'll see, but I was curious, so I decided to pick it up. Why not, right? And the next book I got a haul is Beautiful Little Fools by Julian Cantor. This is a reimagining of The Great Gatsby, or potentially after The Great Gatsby. I don't remember, but what I do know is that this is in the perspective of the girls in The Great Gatsby. I cannot wait to read it because I absolutely love The Great Gatsby. I mean, you can call me pretentious all you want, but The Great Gatsby is one of my favorite classics. I don't know, it just feels so nostalgic to me. I just loved studying it back in high school, and I'm kind of obsessed with the themes and the imagery in it. So I cannot wait to see all of that within this novel. The next book I have to haul is 27 Questions by India Schneider. This is a sapphic Australian romance novel. I'm not gonna lie, the cover really did strike me here, and I like the concept of 28 questions because apparently, according to some social study or science whatnot, it takes 28 questions to fall in love. I like the concept around this book, so I'm very much looking forward to reading it. And the next book I have to haul is The Guncle, which is another book I believe is soon to be a major motion picture. I've been hearing great things about The Guncle. The Guncle, in summary, is the gay uncle. And essentially in this book, we follow an uncle of a few kids, and he's pretty much their mentor, and I think that shenanigans ensue. I don't know whether this is meant to be more comedic or it's meant to be like a more pull on your heartstrings kind of read. I really don't know, but what I do know is that I've been hearing great things about this one book in particular, and I honestly just cannot wait. And I kind of have a few Christina Lauren books to haul. I tend to haul another Christina Lauren novel per week. I don't know, it's just been a thing for me. I've just noticed that Christina Lauren is just like a comfort author duo for me, so I've just decided to slowly accumulate their books. And within this whole period, I have hauled my favorite half night stand, Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, Dating You Hating You, Twice in a Blue Moon, and finally, The Honey Don't List. I'm kind of living for the fact that these are kind of like colorful romance novels. I dig that, I really do. Speaking of stocking up on backlist for certain authors, yes, I stocked up on more Colleen Hoover books. Probably gonna be interesting because out of all of these books, I've only read one of them, and I ended up despising it. I'm like debating as to whether to keep Without Merit or not. I'm not gonna lie. However, I did haul it within this period, so I'm counting it in my book haul. However, I think I'm most curious about Ugly Love because I've actually heard that this novel actually contains a deliberately toxic romance, hence the title being Ugly Love. So this one's gonna be very interesting for me. I think after reading November 9, I kind of just wanted to read more of those Colleen Hoover books that would probably get me on edge. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really heard amazing things about Maybe Someday. I just heard that some people who love Colleen Hoover love it. I feel like it's one of her more tame reads, so I'm gonna see how I go about this one. However, with Confess, I've heard great things about this one, and I rarely hear negative reviews about Confess. It's very interesting because a lot of Colleen Hoover's books are very polarized, but honestly, from what I've gathered based on reviews, Confess seems to be the least polarizing book that I've seen from her so far. We're gonna see how this one goes. And you know what, overall, I'm just looking forward to see how I view Colleen Hoover in retrospect after reading majority of her backlist, because I have had one kind of positive experience with her books and I've had kind of one negative experience with her book so far. I've only read 2 of her books, so let's see if they're gonna mostly be hits or mostly gonna be misses. The last lot of manga I'm gonna bring up in this haul are all by the same author. That author that I'm gonna mention is Jonji Ito. These aren't necessarily as much for me as they are for Camilo. However, I do want to try them out. I think what I'm gonna do is get Camilo to read them and to let me know how scary they are before I try them out, because I'm not gonna lie, I've wanted to read Jonji Ito for some time, but I'm also really terrified of horror, you know? However, I'm not gonna lie, I've been struggling with major FOMO when it comes to a series. I have gotten into some horror manga, and that's mostly been Berserk, but I'm just wondering if, because I do actually like Berserk and I can stomach Berserk, whether I'm gonna be able to stomach these Jonji Ito titles. One day, I randomly found the fine print in Target, and I decided to pick it up. I've heard about this series, it's called the Dreamland Billionaires, and people have been obsessing over it out of nowhere. It literally became a TikTok sensation overnight, and you know what, just seeing it in my local Target. When I say my local Target, I live 15 minutes away from a Target. Like, it's really awesome to live a walking distance away from a Target and just, like, I don't know, leave the house on some random day after I'm working from home and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm surprised with a cheap book. That is how I felt when I saw the fine print. I was like, what? No way. Let me pick it up and let me try it. I'm not gonna lie. Some girl all of a sudden finds a sugar daddy, like, that is unrealistic. However, we have the ability to dream. It's kind of cool to get to do that while reading fiction. I really don't know, honestly. I have no clue. Honestly, I literally just picked this book up to have a fun time. Can I just pretend to be rich while reading a novel for once? The last contemporary novel I have on this haul today is The Roommate by Rosie Denan. I have been looking forward to reading this one for quite some time once I found out the premise. I'm looking forward to trying this out and letting you guys know how it goes, especially the intimacy factor of it. I believe that there's a companion novel that has to do with intimacy as well. And now I saved a bunch of special editions for last because I love to save the best to last a lot. So the first of the special editions that I'm going to bring up is actually a Fable Crate / Fabled Knights special edition that I actually pre-ordered ages ago, and I had no idea that they were going to do a special edition for this. I mean, it was literally meant to be a surprise, but I was just so excited when I unboxed it. I found out that we got a special hardback edition of Honey Trap by Tate James. Look at how amazing this looks. It's like a fabric-y kind of book that's gilded over here, and then it has some honeycomb edges and stuff. And also the good news is Fabled Knights are also going to be doing the sequels to the series as well, so I'm going to have a matching set. I am so happy that they did this. I actually didn't think that I was going to like the Fabled Knights book as much as I did, and I ended up being so surprised. I know that the Fabled Crate is not necessarily completely for me. However, I'm going to keep an eye out for Fabled Knights because they really blew me away with this first book, and I cannot wait to see what other customizations they're going to be able to do with their Fabled Knights product line. And the rest of these are Bookish Box special editions. So I'm going to start off with the January YA pick, and that, my friends, was Court of Dragons by Frost K. I do like the customizations on this one. There are dragon scales on the page, and I really also like this gilding and the art underneath. It's pretty good. It's not necessarily my favorite edition that they've done so far, but it is definitely very pretty. And next I will show you my February young adult book pick from them. And that, my friends, is The Midnight Girls by Alicia Jensinska. And I, oh my goodness, love this so much. I have showed this off in my unboxing video, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. This spread is just amazing. Oh, so pretty. This is so pretty, and they put all their effort into it, and for that I am grateful. In the February adult bookish box, I received Electric Idol by Katie Roberts. I received it in this beautiful, stunning hardback edition. That's absolutely gorgeous. I really love the spine. I also really love the pages, and I love how under the dust jacket we got some really cool foiling. I reckon that they did an amazing job with this edition, and I cannot wait to receive the Neon Gods and Wicked Beauty special editions that were add-ons that will be sending out to me soon. I cannot wait. Now I have 2 Bookish Box special edition sets before I finish, and the first set I'm going to show you is the Plated Prisoner set that they did, and it looks absolutely stunning. And the cool thing about this set is that they essentially have these clear dust jackets that you can take off and then just view the artwork that's underneath. But these clear dust jackets just have the text on them. It's a very interesting concept, but I reckon that it was executed pretty well, and the pages are like drooping gold. This one is my personal least favorite, but I do love the glint and gleam ones. I love this one because you can see that the roses are there on the clear dust jacket, but then when you open this up, Oren looks absolutely stunning in this beautiful gown, and then once again drooping gold. And then finally we have Gleam, and this one looks really cool. I really love the gold detailing here on her dress, and then once again drooping gold. I reckon that they did a pretty good job with these editions. I feel like I wasn't necessarily confident in them at first. I didn't know how I felt about the digital mock-ups, but I guess we all based how we felt on the first cover. However, I do like the other covers in the series, and I love how they progress, and I cannot wait to see the other ones once they reveal the other ones. And finally, this set I've been waiting for such a long time, and I've talked about it a lot of the time on this channel. However, I've not yet read this book series, but I just kind of have a feeling it's going to be one of my favorites. And that, my friends, is the Bargainer Trilogy Bookish Box Special Edition set. Look at all of them. This is so beautiful. So right here we have the first book, Rhapsodic, the second book, A Strange Hymn, and then the third book, Dark Harmony. I love these covers so much. A lot of people are displaying them in the other cover art style, which kind of makes sense. So that's the other cover art style, and that looks cool. However, I've always kind of preferred this side, and oh my goodness, I also love the foiling underneath these. So every one of these naked hardbacks has a replica of the original cover art, and honestly, that was a good call. And as a finishing touch, those are the pages right there. And this is what they look like from the top. The solid effort that the Bookish Box put into this one set absolutely blows my mind. This is one of the best sets that I have on my bookshelf. And have I even read the series? No, but I promise you, I will. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay till the end of the video, leave me the book stack emoji, because we went through the book stack and that's my book haul emoji. So leave that down below so I know that you've supported me throughout the entire journey of this video. If you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. I'm at GSwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/GSwizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at GSwizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Thought it I would have fun, I flipped it in a double. Thought it I would have fun, I flipped it in a double.